Edit, update. I want to thank you all for the kind words and comments. I knew after reading the comments that it was time to come to a resolution. I decided to drive home from work and talk with Erica. When I showed up, Leah's car was parked in the drive. I went inside and they were watching TV. I told Leah immediately to get out. She tried to argue, but I told her if she didn't then I'm calling the police. Erica tried to get pissy that I kicked her friend out, but I said I'm done talking about Leah because at this point nothing is changing with that relationship. Sat Erica down and showed her this post. 20 minutes of reading later I asked her what she thought. She said those people don't understand our relationship or Leah. I knew then that it was over. I asked her to hold out her hand and I took the ring off. She begged, saying she is sorry and she'll cut Leah off, etc. I told her I can't even trust her with the garage code. How am I supposed to trust her as my wife? She's locked herself in our room now. I'm in the kitchen packing up her things. I called her dad, mom, telling them about what has happened and they were furious. Leah is apparently banned from their house and has been since HS. I didn't know this, but her parents said it's been like this since HS. They are coming this weekend to get Erica and the stuff. I couldn't be any happier than I am right now. A huge weight feels lifted off my shoulders. I felt like if I never made this post I wouldn't have ever seen how messed up my life had become. Sincerely, thank you everyone. Can't wait to take my clubs out and play around now that I have more free time. Really excited to see what single life brings and can't thank you all enough again. Me, 29M, and Erica, 27F, dated for 2 years and have been engaged the last 4 months. After we got engaged, Erica moved into my house. I still pay the mortgage while she pays for utilities, groceries and household items. After we get married, the plan is to put her on the house so she gets equity as well. Her friend Leah, 27F, and her have been best friends since high school. I don't particularly like Leah but have also been cordial as I know she's gonna be in my life. My issue is Leah thinks of my home as hers. Couple examples. She always brings her boyfriend over and he's a sketchball. She talks to me in a very disrespectful way in my own house, like I'm a guest and she, Erica, own it. One day I went out to my garage and some of my tools were missing. I checked my camera and Leah, BF, were in my garage with Erica and took some tools with them. I asked Erica and she said they were just borrowing and would return them. I had to reach out multiple times for them to finally return the tools weeks later. I have a nice wine, liquor collection and I was working late one Friday. While working I heard some clanking of bottles together. Erica wasn't home so I went out to see what was up. Leah was behind my bar. I asked what she was doing and she said that Erica told her it was okay to borrow a bottle of wine for her party and that she would pay it back. I told her no, that wasn't alright and to leave. I asked Erica about this and she said I don't remember telling Leah she could take a bottle, but I might have, I don't remember. I told her at this point I wasn't comfortable with Leah being in my house. Erica sorta understood but also blew me off. Final straw came when I wanted to go hit some golf balls and my clubs were missing. I freaked out because I golf regularly and my clubs are my biggest investment. Went to check the camera again and Leah used my garage code and took the clubs. I blew up, called Erica and told her to get them back immediately. Erica said Leah had asked for the garage code to grab some clothes from her closet and not my clubs. I threatened to call the police but Erica stopped me. Leah kept telling us that her boyfriend needed them for a work thing. I got them back almost 4 days after they were taken and they were dirty. At this point I sat Erica down and told her that if I see Leah in my house again then I'm calling the cops, no discussion. Erica got upset saying that it's her best friend and that wasn't fair to do to her in our house. I said it's a pattern and since Erica's stuff isn't affected she doesn't care. I said she can go over to Leah's if she wants to see her. She said she can't do this because Leah doesn't like her apartment and Leah's BF is always there, which makes Erica uncomfortable. I'm now getting the silent treatment and getting called an all, but I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. Ada? As my title suggests, my mom is a huge Harry Potter nut. She and my dad actually met in a Harry Potter IRC. Like Discord but for old people, in the early OOS, got married, had kids, and from day one decided to embarrass us for life by naming us after some Harry Potter and Star Wars characters. It's honestly been hell. I have a stupid name and since we were little my parents have forced stuff like Harry Potter, Star Wars, Marvel movies, etc. down our throats. Everything is about dragons and magic and blah blah blah. I'm so sick of it. Every birthday, every holiday, everything is just organized around fandom. So just like every Christmas, the days leading up to Christmas, we have to sit down every night and watch Harry Potter movies. It's so fucking boring. I can usually get away with knitting or drawing on my iPad during this, but this year my mom was like, let's just have a technology and distraction-free night every night. I arranged to go over to my friend Missy's house instead for like 2 nights. Missy's family is normal and likes things a normal amount. My mom got really mad and started talking about how it's a family tradition and how I'm basically rejecting her, and went on her whole thing about how you wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Harry Potter. I finally had it and just yelled, nobody cares that you were a big name in the Harry Potter fan club. I don't like Harry Potter. I don't like Star Wars. I hate Marvel movies, they're all so boring, please just let me have my own interests. I couldn't help it, I started crying because I was just so frustrated because everything always has to be about Harry Potter, this Star Wars, that, and now that we're all older they started doing Game of Thrones. Everything is centered around some kind of movie or TV show or book series. Just once I want my family to band around something that doesn't have to do with media or these nerdy things. We live in Utah where we have like 5 national parks, and even though I ask every year for my birthday, I've never even been to Arches. Well, my sister called me saying that mom was angry and to just come home and to stop with the theatrics. I told her that I'm sick of having all this old nerd stuff crammed down my throat, and just once I want to have a normal time watching normal Christmas movies and not having to pause for lightsaber battles. Ada? Hey guys, I know you think you're cool and on the joke wink wink when you DM me and ask me for my name, but I'm a teenage girl and that's not really how it's coming across. Please stop. For those of you telling me in DMs IRC didn't do fandom, it was part of a live journal community. Someone in the community had a fan site they all liked. It had a chat room. I'm sure there was other stuff too. Her parents always looked down on me, and I can somewhat understand why given my past and how me and my wife met. At 23 I was a homeless man. My wife was the first person who was nice to me. Almost got kicked out of this small restaurant when I was trying to avoid the rain. She was there and pretended that we were meeting so they'd let me stay. Got a free meal and we talked for a long time. She really helped turn my life around, stuff like helping me fill out job application. From there we became good friends. 2 years after that, after getting my shit together first thanks to her, I asked her out on a date. Her family never approved of our relationship because they thought I was trash due to how my life was when we met. Which again, I get it. But after 4 years of us being in a relationship, me having the same steady full-time job to help with the bills for years, they didn't even come to the wedding. Then when my son was born a year after, they still wanted nothing to do with us. So we haven't had contact in years since my son was a baby. Now he's 16 and they contacted us out of the blue. They still don't care to talk to either me or my wife, but they were willing to put their feelings aside to get to know him. We never went into details with him about why we don't talk to them, and he's never asked much before. We left the choice to him if he'd like to meet them. And he agreed to it. He's gone over to spend time on several occasions the past 3 months. Finally the other day he asks us why we didn't keep contact with them. To him they seemed like nice people, so he doesn't get what the conflict was. They told him we stopped talking over a conflict we had, but left out that they were the ones who didn't want to see us. So we told him the truth. My son already knows about my past. That's something I never wanted to hide from him. We told him they never approved our relationship because I used to be homeless and they never wanted to be part of our lives since then. He got mad at them, now they're mad at us. My son doesn't want to talk to them and they sent us screenshots of some of the things he told them, no insults or inappropriate language but just what he thought of them. And they think we're assholes because they were finally building a relationship with him and we ruined it. For now, my son says he doesn't want to be involved with people like that. We've talked to him several times, he still hasn't changed his mind. It was my choice to tell him why and my wife supported that. Now with how things have turned on, I wonder if I was an asshole like they seem to think I am. My F30 brother M16 was born with a heart condition that prevented him from living his childhood to the fullest and doing his favorite activities. He can't do most things due to his condition and the side effects his medication have on him. My parents have always struggled with money because of medical bills, and unfortunately they cannot afford to buy my brother nice things. For example, he always wanted a console to play with. He only gets to play when my uncle and cousins visit and bring their console. My brother has been feeling sad and lonely recently after his doctors recommended that visits be limited. I decided to use my salary to get him his own console and wait till Christmas to give it to him. I bought an Xbox and has been sitting in my closet till I discovered that my fiancé took it and sent it to his nephew who lives states away. I was in dismay. I confronted him about it, asking why he took the Xbox knowing it was supposed to be a gift for my brother, and he said he knew but explained his sister's single mom and couldn't buy any gifts for her son, nor are they receiving gifts from family since they're all ignoring her after giving her money, so they think they've done enough. He told me he felt sorry for his nephew and wanted to cheer him up but didn't have money, so he thought that he could send him the Xbox, then we'll figure out what I'm going to gift my brother together. I told him he had no right to touch the Xbox and said that what he did was theft, which made him upset and somewhat shocked. He said he was very hurt. I essentially called him a thief when he thought that I cared about our nephew as much, and he doesn't. Explained my brother does not need the Xbox since he can't find time to play due to his condition, and also not finding playmates also due to his condition. I told him my brother is still capable and he was making it seem as if he wasn't, but he argued he didn't mean it this way, just that he was hurt. I called his good deed theft, but I stood by what I said and demanded he either pay for the Xbox or pay me, but he acted more hurt, calling me callous and mean to take a gift from a child like that. But I said I didn't gift his nephew this device and so it is not my problem. He gave me complete silence and then went to stay at a hotel for 3 days, saying I was being unfair to him and hurt him deeply. The problem still stands and he is counting on me to let it go and see that he was just helping his sister and nephew out. Ada?